Berserk fans, I got some very bad news for you today. This is an official statement from the official Berserk account on social media, and they name dropped the group that is doing the fan animation project for Berserk. You probably have seen me talk about this a few times on the channel, and actually I have talked to a few people that have actively been working on the said project. And when I saw this post grace my feed today, I knew the only thing that this could actually mean is bad news. And more or less, that's exactly what this is. So let's get headfirst into this. So, the actual name drop from the official account mentioning the website, mentioning, what the project's being called. They even do the full statement. They even translate it into English for people to be able to read. It is not good. And basically what this really kind of boils down to, what the official Berserk account is trying to tell everybody, is that this ongoing project that is being made by a group of fans for Berserk is not officially licensed. It is not managed by an official group, and it is, in a way, copyright infringement. Like, they pretty much say everything like they do with Corpo speak, saying, if you continue doing this, we're gonna shut this down. Obviously, they did not directly say in these posts, cease and desist, or we're gonna shut you down, but more or less, what this statement from the official Berserk Twitter says is that we are actively aware of this fan project, and we are giving, most likely, a verbal warning. And if this continues, we'll probably seek some form of legal action. That is, at the very least, the only way you can take this entire statement from an official account. Like, especially a Japanese company account. Because, I'm going to be blunt with you. When it comes to Japanese companies, they are super strict on copyright. Hell, I've been making a lot of videos talking about copyright, leaks, and all this other type of stuff. People potentially going to jail or prison because of leaks. We know Japan is extremely serious, and they do not budge. They do not bend when it comes to copyright material, especially if someone is potentially infringing upon it. However, they push a little bit too hard in this regard, because I have brushed up against the Japanese companies a few times in the past, to where even posting a thumbnail with an anime image on it, or a manga image, okay? They will copyright strike a video down. They will 100% do that. You can have the entire video just showing your face, nothing else, and they will copyright strike the entire video because of a thumbnail. It has happened to me. It has happened a while, but it has happened. They are extremely strict when it comes to copyright. And so, seeing this was something I even talked about at this point in time, probably a year ago. I talked about how the fan project that the group is working on for Berserk will have a lot of trials to overcome, an uphill battle, so to speak, because it's not just the fact of getting a good team to work on it to make a good, acceptable animation that everybody's going to enjoy, but it's also the legal part of it, and if Japan would be a-okay with something like this existing. And it's very clear by just this statement alone, it's most likely not the case. They are not happy with this fan project being made. So let's get into what's going on here. So one thing I have actively noticed, especially on the Japanese post, is a lot of people more or less on the side of the company. The Japanese audience, at the very least, I can't say for the full West, but at the very least the Japanese audience is fully fine with the fan animation project being shut down. Now, this isn't my personal opinion on one side or the other at the moment. I'm just saying the Japanese fans clearly are completely fine. They're siding with the official company, which is, I guess this is typical. I've seen this in the past when it came to, the Totally Not Mark situation, when it came to him, begging Toei to get rid of the copyright strikes and stuff. I've seen the Japanese audience basically turn against Totally Not Mark. So I know that the Japanese fans usually always side with the companies. I've definitely noticed that. I don't think this is probably a 100% of Japanese, watchers, but I do think a good chunk of them, at least the majority. But one thing I will say is that regardless of my personal opinion and how I feel about maybe potentially the fan project being shut down, this is in the legal right of the license holders. This is in the legal right of the official Berserk license holders to shut down a fan project. It is, because technically, all things considered, what they are actually doing isn't as simple as making a few animation sequences of great moments within the manga. No, they are straight up just making a full-blown anime series that everybody's going to be able to watch. And you can imagine companies, not just like a Japanese company, but companies in general, probably would not like that. It makes a lot of sense. So it was already risky territory right off the start. Like, as soon as it began, we knew it was risky territory. I think everybody looking at this project knew that. But the thing is that regardless of it being in their legal right to take this down and there's nothing we can really do about it, sometimes companies do press a little bit too hard and they do things that just feel very anti-consumer. And I'm not saying that, you know, the Berserk company is like this, but there is obviously an active discussion in the Berserk community for decades at this point, not just years, decades, about Berserk not getting a proper anime. And say whatever you want, it's the truth. Majority of the anime community and people that love Berserk agree with this statement, that Berserk does not really have a good anime adaptation. It's usually CGI slop, and it completely destroys the beauty and magic of the art quality of Berserk. And for decades, people have begged for Japan, some company, to pick up Berserk and adapt it into a beautiful anime adaptation with proper 2D hand-drawn animation, or even drawn on the computer, but drawn, not CGI. Obviously, we have not got that. And so, after decades of fans basically begging and wanting, a group of people got together and they decided, fine, we'll do it ourselves, doing a Thanos meme, and wanted to animate Berserk. So it started off as a fan passion project because there's always been this gap, this hole, that just, for some reason, Japanese companies and studios do not want to fill. And it feels very old-fashioned and very rigid. It's like you're sitting on a license and doing basically nothing with it, and fans are begging you. They want to pay you for whatever content if you give them good content, but they refuse to. But anyways, back into the main point. One thing I have seen a lot of people talk about when it comes to this revelation today is that Studio Eclipse, the individuals doing the fan animation, a lot of people have said, good, I'm glad they're being shut down because they opened up a Patreon. Now, I don't know too much about this. This is the first time I've heard about it today, so I don't know all the intricate details of that, but apparently Studio Eclipse, the people doing this fan project, did open up a Patreon to receive funding to some degree. I don't know if this is fully accurate, but they opened up a Patreon to be able to get money, and it's obviously affiliated with the Berserk fan project. So you can see where this will definitely have a lot of issues, not just with a Japanese company, but with any company. If you're making a profit off of something, if you are theoretically infringing on copyright. So yeah, I guess that makes sense. If they are doing this notion thanks to the Patreon ordeal, then that is 100% understandable, but I saw a lot of people throwing in, like, apparently Studio Eclipse is just stealing people's money and all that and not doing anything with it, when it's like, I don't think that's really credible at this time. I don't know if that's true, but I don't think there's really any evidence to prove that yet. But regardless, you know, if this does continue, and this is actually a warning by the official account, then most likely the official Berserk project will not see the light of day. Which is sad. I was curious to see how it was going to be. It's obviously wasn't going to be the best looking thing of all time, but it would be nice to see something made for the fans. But it seems like that's not going to be the case. So I'm going to leave it at that. Just want to tell you all this news, but be safe, stay healthy, love you guys. Chibi out.